Don't scroll just yet. This might be exactly what you need to hear today. Welcome, everyone, to a truly vital conversation about the bedrock of healthy relationships. We're about to dive deep into 10 behaviors you should never accept in your relationship. A topic that genuinely resonates with anyone striving for authentic connection and lasting happiness. It's absolutely fundamental to grasp that true love, the kind that blossoms and flourishes beautifully over time, can only thrive when certain core principles are upheld. This inherently means that boundaries, those invisible yet crucial lines we draw to safeguard our emotional and personal well-being, must always be honored and deeply respected. They are not mere suggestions, they are, in fact, non-negotiable foundations. When respect becomes an inherent given, rather than something you constantly have to battle for, that's precisely when you lay the solid groundwork for a profoundly fulfilling and loving partnership. We'll meticulously explore these behaviors, helping you pinpoint potential red flags and empowering you to cultivate the precise kind of relationships you genuinely deserve. Stay tuned for insights that could truly transform your perception of love and respect. In the intricate dance of human connection, we frequently find ourselves discussing emotional boundaries. These are the vital, often unseen, lines we establish concerning the behavior we are willing, and crucially unwilling, to accept from those around us. Within the intimate sphere of our closest relationships, upholding these boundaries can become particularly challenging. This is often because emotions run exceptionally high, and our judgment can sometimes be clouded, leading us to overlook or even justify actions we inherently know we shouldn't. This segment aims to meticulously examine several behaviors that unequivocally serve as major red flags, urging us to firmly push back against what even the most forgiving individual might typically tolerate. 1. Repeated broken promises. Let's begin with the first critical behavior, repeated broken promises. A promise, at its very core, should only ever be made with the absolute and clear intention of being kept. However, we all understand that life is inherently unpredictable. Circumstances can change, and sometimes unforeseen external factors can indeed prevent us from fully delivering on our word. Yet, not every broken promise is simply an oversight. A consistent failure to deliver often signifies a profound betrayal. If someone repeatedly offers flimsy excuses like "I can't," and consistently places you lower on their list of priorities after making a commitment, then it's time to seriously question how they truly value you and the very foundation of your relationship. This is a crucial moment for deep reflection. Moreover, if a person is genuinely apologetic for breaking their word, you will observe them actively and demonstrably working to make amends or sincerely expressing their remorse. Their actions, in these instances, will speak far louder than any mere words, showing a true commitment to repairing the trust. 2. Making you feel badly about yourself in public or in private. Continuing our deep dive into unacceptable behaviors within relationships, we now turn our attention to a particularly insidious pattern, making you feel badly about yourself in public or in private. This often comes disguised with a dismissive, casual tone, like the all-too common familiar refrain, "Oh, come on, it was just a joke." But make no mistake, this behavior extends far beyond mere harmless teasing. It frequently manifests when individuals intentionally trick your deepest insecurities in front of friends or family, or subtly, yes, or not so subtly, shame you about some profound you've confided in them. It can also appear as a seemingly innocent, yet deeply critical, dismissive comment about your appearance. Perhaps when you're proudly wearing a new outfit. It's true that some people genuinely possess different senses of humor, and others might simply be inept at delivering genuine, heartfelt compliments. They might even attempt to hide their discomfort with sarcastic remarks or mistakenly believe that being funny is charming. However, when these actions repeatedly cross a discernible line, or when they are clearly attempting to diminish your confidence with passive-aggressive or overtly sarcastic comments, it's a profound problem. These aren't just jokes. They are calculated attempts to undermine your self-worth. It's absolutely crucial to recognize this pattern and understand that your feelings of discomfort or shame are entirely valid, not something to be casually brushed aside. Regardless of their stated intentions, this type of treatment is unequivocally unacceptable. It is vital to clearly and directly communicate to them precisely how their words and actions are truly affecting you. After expressing your feelings, Observe their response meticulously. If they show genuine understanding and make a discernible effort to change their behavior, it's entirely possible they were simply unaware of the profound impact they were having and perhaps it wasn't an intentional slight. However, if they either know exactly what they're doing and continue to dismiss your feelings, or if they are intentionally causing you distress despite being fully aware of it, then it's a definitive sign that it's time to move on and leave the relationship. 3. Emotional manipulation. Moving into a profoundly damaging behavior, emotional manipulation. Consider this scenario from the previous point, but now, assume their actions are deliberate and calculated. When you confide in a partner, you are entrusting them with your deepest thoughts, most vulnerable feelings, and most profound insecurities. This very vulnerability is, in essence, the very core of an intimate relationship, a sacred space built on unwavering trust and undeniable safety. Yet, disturbingly, some individuals exploit these very vulnerabilities directly against you. They weaponize the insecurities you've so openly shared, subtly or overtly, attempting to pass it off as mere joking or just having fun. Under absolutely no circumstances should you ever accept this flimsy excuse, which is nothing more than emotional abuse, insidious manipulation, or blatant blackmail. These individuals are leveraging knowledge that could deeply hurt and even devastate you, and they are doing so precisely for their own insidious purposes. Genuinely caring individuals would never even consider such a thing. Your emotional well-being is paramount, and manipulation erodes the very fabric of trust and love. 4. Betraying your trust or infidelity. While infidelity is undoubtedly significant, it's crucial to understand that it's not the sole way to shatter trust in a relationship. In fact, trust is the fundamental cornerstone of all relationships, extending far beyond romantic partnerships alone. It's the bedrock upon which genuine connection is built. However, within the unique intimacy of a close relationship, trust runs even deeper, encompassing emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, and even sexual aspects. You are, in essence, entrusting every single part of yourself to a person who has pledged to honor that trust daily throughout the entire relationship. Let's delve into betraying your trust or infidelity. This is one of the many reasons why clear and open communication is absolutely crucial. It helps both partners effectively define and respect their mutual boundaries. What exactly constitutes infidelity? What specific actions break trust? What truly crosses the lines of the unique relationship you've so carefully built together? At first glance, these questions might seem to have obvious answers that we all universally agree on, but in reality, there are often real nuances and individual interpretations at play. Consider, for instance, the pervasive influence of social media. You both had a life before you met, and it's highly likely you knew, and perhaps still actively follow many other attractive men and women online. But is it truly acceptable to continue actively following these individuals? Is it okay to like their photos, even if their attire changes or becomes more revealing in the photo's context? Is it acceptable to respond to their stories or direct messages? What is the underlying context and intention of these messages? These are all profound questions that demand open discussion and mutual understanding to ensure trust remains absolutely intact. 5. Pretending the past never happened. There's a significant, undeniable difference between genuinely moving on from past hurts and attempting to completely erase the past as if it never existed. When two people are truly moving forward, they engage in a transformative process of healing, openly discussing the challenges they've overcome, and growing as individuals and as a couple, evolving into a stronger, more resilient future. We cannot simply live in the past, constantly dwelling on it, as that would inevitably contaminate our entire future. However, we also cannot and should not pretend that the past never happened, try to entirely erase it from our minds, or minimize the profound pain, anguish, or feelings surrounding the pivotal events that occurred. This brings us to pretending the past never happened. When this deeply problematic situation occurs, individuals are entirely invalidating your experience and crucially refusing to take any genuine responsibility for their own actions. Healthy progression from past issues and challenges fundamentally involves acknowledging responsibility, making a sincere and demonstrable effort to improve, and ultimately, truly earning forgiveness. This isn't about forgetting, it's about acknowledging, learning, and growing together to build a more resilient, trusting future. To deny the past is to deny the invaluable lessons learned and the shared journey itself. 6. Refusal to take responsibility. If a partner attempts to rush past a difficult process, they are merely trying to avoid confronting what they've done, hoping that by sweeping it under the rug, you will simply forget about it. This, unfortunately, is a clear and unmistakable warning sign of much larger, underlying issues that desperately need to be addressed. Let's move on to refusal to take responsibility. Partners can only truly grow and evolve together when they both actively take personal responsibility for their own development, which inherently includes personal accountability for their actions. If someone consistently refuses to apologize for their wrongdoings, admit their mistakes, or genuinely hold themselves accountable for their actions, how can you ever truly learn to trust them again? Such individuals will often spend an inordinate amount of time shifting blame directly onto you, or pretending they've nothing wrong whatsoever. You cannot avoid a problem and simultaneously resolve it. You must choose one over the other. Avoidance unequivocally never leads to progress, growth, or the fundamental cornerstone of trust. 7. Keeping a tally. Next, we address keeping a tally. A meticulous scorecard of every mistake, misdeed, and wrongdoing in a relationship is a deeply toxic behavior. Anyone who constantly keeps such a score is merely waiting for an opportunity to win an argument or a disagreement. True relationships are not about winning. They are profoundly about collaboration, effective teamwork, shared mutual goals, and shared effort towards a common objective. It's about building something meaningful together, not about who has the upper hand. When you focus on a tally, you fundamentally detract from the true essence of partnership. 8. Gaslighting. If someone persistently brings up past mistakes or operates from a tit-for-tat mentality, where every interaction is about evening the score, they are solely focused on who was right and who was wrong in a given situation. A healthy team, which a relationship should unequivocally be, must work together to truly win the game of life and love, not against each other. The moment you begin to feel like you're competing against one another or constantly seeking leverage over your partner is the precise moment everything starts to unravel. Now, let's confront a particularly insidious and damaging behavior: gaslighting. You might hear phrases like, "You're being crazy," or "I never said that," or "You know that's not what I meant," or even "That never happened," or "That's not how I remember it." These are classic, telltale gaslighting tactics. Gaslighting is when someone deliberately manipulates your reality, making you doubt your own feelings, your memory, or even your basic sanity. This allows them to evade responsibility for their actions and, critically, establishes a disturbing pattern of control and narcissistic behavior. They actively try to make you believe that they know you better than you know yourself, and that your own thoughts about an event are inaccurate or entirely fabricated. Unsurprisingly, the accurate reality they try to present is always in their favor, serving their own agenda. Under absolutely no circumstances, none whatsoever, should gaslighting be accepted or tolerated in your life. It is a severe form of emotional abuse that erodes your self-worth and perception of reality, and recognizing it is a crucial first step towards protecting yourself. Refusal to grow or develop. Having standards in a relationship isn't just about what you won't accept. It's equally about what you will accept and actively seek. You are, and should be, on a continuous path of significant personal growth and development, striving for a life filled with profound fulfillment, deep happiness, and abundant love. Therefore, it is absolutely essential that you have a partner who is equally invested in their own personal growth as you are, and whose commitment to their own development mirrors your own level of investment in the relationship itself. This brings us to refusal to grow or develop. You simply cannot be the sole person striving for personal improvement, growing, or solely focused on maintaining a healthy lifestyle within the partnership. Otherwise, you will inevitably grow apart, or worse, simply remain stagnant while your partner stubbornly refuses to move forward. This stagnation often leads to negative treatment, betrayal, or various forms of abuse that indicate a profound and simply unacceptable incompatibility in life. If you and your partner are not a match in this crucial aspect of personal evolution, there is absolutely no shame in acknowledging it, and it certainly doesn't mean either of you is a bad person. Sometimes, two genuinely good people simply aren't suitable for each other, and the sooner you realize this fundamental truth, the more hurt, and pain you will ultimately avoid in the long and 10. AY farm FABUSE finally, and unequivocally, We address the 10th unacceptable behavior AFUFARMMOFAUC. Yes, the capitalization of abuse is deliberate and intentional because this point is paramount. As I mentioned earlier, I understand that people can make mistakes, and in certain situations, a second chance might be warranted for lesser issues. However, when it comes to abuse, I firmly believe there should be a zero-tolerance policy. Abuse, in any shape or form, be it emotional, physical, or psychological, is never acceptable. It is a fundamental violation of trust, respect, and safety, and it must be met with an immediate and decisive response for your well-being.